Republican leader.
I ask consent that further proceedings of the quorum call be dispensed with.
Without objection.
Eastern Kentucky is again facing the threat of stormy weather and flash floods this weekend. Emergency responders have been on the ground since the flooding began and will continue their critical role in the coming days. We're making sure the federal government is stepping up as well. In addition to the governor and state lawmakers, I've been in personal contact with the president, Secretary Mayorkas and Becerra, FEMA Administrator Criswell, going back to the beginning of this emergency. FEMA has been on the ground since day one, providing enormous help with search and rescue operations. Once rebuilding begins, their role will only be more important. With the President's major disaster declaration, FEMA is now authorized to send financial assistance directly to the flood victims. These funds will be critical to those who lost their homes in the flooding, especially since many lack flood insurance. To reach remote residents, FEMA representatives are going door to door and speaking directly to survivors in shelters to make sure everyone who qualifies for help actually receives it. The agency has already approved hundreds of thousands of dollars for affected Kentuckians. FEMA is also helping pull together a wide swath of federal agencies to supplement the Kentucky National Guard and state agencies. The Forest Service is already on the ground clearing debris from roadways. The Small Business Administration is issuing loans to help employers rebuild. The Army Corps of Engineers is ensuring all dams in the region remain operational. The federal response so far has been extraordinary. I've been proud to stand with the governor and Kentucky's entire congressional delegation to help expand the number of counties receiving assistance and streamline the aid. Kentuckians can visit my official website to see the full list of services offered by our federal disaster response agencies. The federal government has done an excellent job so far. The crisis is far from over. Soon I'll visit the region myself to meet with flood victims and listen to their concerns. Then I'll take what I hear from my constituents back to Washington and ensure we stand by their side as we rebuild bigger and better than before. Now, on an entirely different matter, a year and a half ago, Democrats misread a 50-50 Senate as a mandate for $1.9 trillion in party line reckless spending. The result has been the worst inflation in 40 years. With Democrats in charge, working families are having to spend thousands of extra dollars each year just to tread water. Grocery costs are through the roof. Energy bills have skyrocketed. Gas prices are more than $1 higher than on Inauguration Day. American families are trapped in an inflation spiral where many workers have earned pay raises on paper, but even those bigger paychecks buy them less and less every time they go to the store. Because of Democrats' historic failure on the economy, the American people have lost their patience. 90% say they're feeling anxious about inflation. Only 28% like what President Biden is doing about it. And just 22% think we'll be in any better shape after another year of Democratic leadership. But amazingly, Senate Democrats are misreading the American people's outrage as a mandate for yet another reckless taxing and spending spree. Democrats have already robbed American families once through inflation, and now their solution is to rob American families yet a second time. Democrats want to ram through hundreds of billions of dollars in tax hikes and hundreds of billions of dollars in reckless spending. And for what? For a so-called inflation bill that will not meaningfully reduce inflation at all and will actually make inflation even worse in the short term. For a so-called economic bill that will kill American jobs and hammer our manufacturing sector. For a so-called climate bill that will have no meaningful impact on global temperatures whatsoever. for a so-called prescription drug bill that will result in fewer life-saving medicines and higher prices for the new cures that are invented. Every fact I've just laid out has come from nonpartisan experts and academics. Democrats' bill will do nothing to meaningfully cut inflation. Hundreds of billions of dollars in tax hikes on a struggling economy will help kill American jobs. Everywhere except the IRS, that is, where the bill would fund the hiring of, listen to this, 86,000 new tax collectors, plus new cars and new computers, jacking up Americans' electricity bills and gas prices in order to subsidize rich people buying luxury cars and new appliances will not make one dent in the future trajectory of global temperatures. Democrats will choke off the development of new life-saving medicines if they pretend that making things cheaper is as simple as passing a law saying they ought to be cheaper. Survey after survey, poll after poll has proven that none of this nonsense is what American people want Democrats to focus on. The American people don't want hundreds of billions of dollars in Green New Deal waste. They want less inflation, not more. American families don't want tens of thousands more IRS agents. What they'd like are more border patrol and ICE agents. American families don't want Democrats policing what kinds of stoves and clothes dryers they can put in their homes. What they want is for Democrats to start actually policing our city streets. Democrats have decided their first economic disaster justifies a second economic disaster. The working people of this country feel very, very differently. Now, on a related matter, I want to drill down on Democrats' plan to take a buzzsaw to the research and development behind new life-saving medical treatments and cures. The American people have enough common sense to know that the government can't actually make something cost less by making it illegal to raise the price. Let me say that again. The government can't actually make something cost less by making it illegal to raise its price. This is the logic of college sophomore socialism. It's not fair that certain things cost more than we'd like. So why doesn't the government simply pass a law making it cheaper? Well, Madam President, the world would be a lot easier for everybody if things actually worked that way. It would certainly be easier to be a member of Congress. We could just vote to set the price of everything in America, snap our fingers, and everybody in the country would enjoy $5 smartphones, $10 TVs, and $100 pickup trucks. What a concept. Why hasn't anybody thought of this genius idea before? Well, of course, people have thought of it before. Plenty of governments have tried crude price fixing. Cuba, Venezuela, the old Soviet Union. Not exactly thriving paradises, not pinnacles of prosperity, well-being, or innovation. Not the examples we would want to follow. Everybody wants prescription drugs and complex medicines to be more affordable. Everybody wants to help struggling families. That's the goal we all share. But you know what will not achieve that goal? Empowering some Biden administration bureaucrat to sit down at a desk and arbitrarily name the price that manufacturers can charge. Democrats' policy would not bring about some paradise where we all get amazing new innovations we would have gotten anyway at a lower cost. Their policy would bring about a world where many fewer new drugs and treatments get invented in the first place, as companies cut back on R&D. By one analysis, if Democrats' price-fixing scheme had already been in place, 104 of 110 major new medicines released in the past decades may never have made it to the market. We would literally have fewer life-saving cures and treatments. More Americans would die, and die younger, under Democrats' policy. And the new drugs that did still get invented would be more expensive when they hit the market. That's according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. So, Madam President, during the Obama administration, I worked with then Vice President Biden on a project he was especially passionate about. I was proud to help launch his cancer moonshot within the 21st Century Cures Bill. But according to one expert's calculations, the bill President Biden wants Senate Democrats to ram through this weekend would reduce cancer research spending by more than 9 times as much as our cancer moonshot expanded it. So I'll say that one more time. According to one expert, this far-left takeover of America's medicine cabinets would destroy 9 times as much cancer funding as we provided with the cancer moonshot. We're talking about a tidal wave of Washington meddling, wiping out future treatments and cures for Americans suffering with rare diseases. What a terrible, terrible, and tragic part of their reckless plans.
Under the previous order, the question is on the motion to discharge.
Ask for the yeas and nays.
Is there a sufficient second? There appears to be. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Baldwin.